So I want to continue to offer a prayerful reflection on one of our core values today. I want to focus on loving inclusively. And I'll walk us through the statement that we adopted. We believe every human being is created in God's image. Every human being. And we didn't make this up out of the blue. This comes right from the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis, the creation story, where we are told that God created humankind in God's own image. Male and female, God created them. What would it look like for us to truly believe this and to recognize that every encounter with another human being is an encounter with a child of God? Martin Buber, the Jewish mystic, said that the spiritual life was really about moving from an I-it orientation where we objectify the other and we don't see their humanity, moving from an I-it to an I-thou orientation, to recognize that they too are a child of God. As Christians, we're called to love God. And again, Jesus is building upon the Jewish tradition of which he was a part. And he said, I have come not to abolish this tradition, but to fulfill it. And so it begins with words that are right out of the Shema, which is the heart of the Jewish tradition, that we should love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And so Jesus recognizes that's an integral part, but then he extends that to loving our neighbors, loving God's creations, loving ourselves, the stranger, the marginalized, and our enemies. There's so much packed into that statement. How can we love God and not love the things and the ones that God has made? And so we're called as Christians to love this planet, to love every created thing and every created being, to recognize that the plants and the animals in this world are our brothers and sisters, and we must care for them, because caring for them is one of the ways that we love God. And that also includes caring for ourselves. Jesus says, love your neighbor as yourself. And so implied in that is that we can't really love anything or anyone else until we first love ourselves. And to recognize that we are created in God's image, beloved of God, and that we are children of God. And so to be able to love ourselves, but then to extend that love to not only the neighbor, but to the stranger, the one who we don't know very well, to the marginalized, to those who have been kicked to the curb in our culture and our society, those who are at the bottom, those who we are conditioned to look past, but to see them as children of God. And then the toughest one, the kicker, love your enemies. The person who frustrates you the most, the person in whom you see perhaps no good at all. You are called to love them well and wisely. Which doesn't mean that you become a doormat. It doesn't mean that you believe everything that they say, but that you will recognize that they too are a child of God. And that you may need to set boundaries and you may need to protect yourself from them, but you're called to be intentional in recognizing that they too are loved by God. We value differences and honor diversity. Just look around. This is not a world that is lacking in diversity. There is so much biodiversity all around us. And I think the more that we're called on this journey, the more we begin to see that God likes it this way. This is the way it's supposed to be. And we're supposed to learn how to see all of this diversity through the eyes of God. Authoritarian leaders, authoritarian communities try to get everybody to march lockstep with them. They try to get everybody to be the same, but that's not what this community is about. We recognize that God works through this diversity, even as we strive towards a deeper unity. But it is a unity that honors and protects and cherishes diversity. We recognize unique perspectives One of my mentors likes to say that every viewpoint is a view from a point, including our own. We all have a limited understanding of reality. And so we are better off learning how to listen to one another, to recognize that my perspective is different than yours. We also recognize unique talents and experiences, that everybody brings something different to the table. And everybody's experience is different. And so there are things that we have stumbled upon in our lives through experience. There are learnings, there is wisdom that we have gleaned from our own lived experience. And we need to share that. And we need to listen for that. And finally, learn from each other. None of us has arrived. None of us has discovered and learned everything we need to know. We are on a journey, and that journey involves a lifelong pursuit of learning. And so we help each other along that path. So may the Lord help us to love inclusively, to believe that every human being is created in God's image. And as followers of Jesus, as Christians, help us to love God, to love God's creations, ourselves, our neighbors, strangers, the marginalized, and even our enemies. Help us to value differences and honor diversity. Help us to recognize the unique perspectives and talents and experiences all around us. And help us to learn from each other.